Is there a real estate bubble in the Bay Area? No, but there is now a real estate bundle in the Bay Area. That's right, Bundle Select. Hi, this is Joe Kuchera with Real Estate Radio Live. I've been on the air and in the media educating and informing consumers for over 7 years now. I'm excited to introduce Bundle Select, which allows consumers to bundle all of their real estate services online, simplifying the process while averaging a savings of 20% or more. That's right, Bundle Select helps buyers and sellers streamline real estate, lending, and title. In addition, our concierge service will coordinate the entire transaction for you, so you benefit by working with the same team, saving time, and saving money. You'll not only be working with the most qualified, hand-picked experts, but you will also save a significant amount of money in all three services as well. Act now and take advantage of this opportunity in the Bay Area. Go to bundleselect.com. That's bundleselect.com. Again, bundleselect.com.
Real estate broker Cal BRE 004666902. Welcome to Real Estate Radio Live, an informative and engaging podcast discussing everything you need to know about the world of real estate. Your host, Joe Kuchera, provides you with insight and guidance on how to buy, sell, finance, and invest in real estate. He also offers real estate tax management strategies, new construction advice, home improvement tips, and much, much more. And now, to guide you around the world of real estate, here's your host and Real Estate Radio Live team leader, Joe Kuchera.
Welcome in. Good afternoon. Joe Kuchera with Real Estate Radio Live. Thank you those for joining us today on Facebook, and thank those also that continue to download the podcast and participate in the show. Please feel free to continue on Facebook, giving us the questions, interacting, sharing any information that you would like to. We have a whole series of shows. A lot of new, exciting news coming up, so stay tuned for that. Most of you know yesterday we have an ongoing series with Jack Russo, who is the managing partner with a computer law firm in Palo Alto. Jack's been kind enough to start a series with us. Silicon Valley's starting something new, and so the idea is once a week Jack will be on and we'll talk a little bit about the startups in Silicon Valley, what it takes, entrepreneurship. Yesterday we talked a little bit about patents, how to file a provisional patent, what to do each step of the way. A lot of exciting stuff, and Jack's going to be able to bring that to us. So check in. Make sure you follow the show. We have a lot of new exciting news coming up. You've been hearing me talk about some exciting news we're going to be sharing here in the first quarter of the year, and that will be coming to you. More of that will be coming to you in the next 2 weeks, so stay tuned for that. We have some exciting programs we're launching, introducing, and we're going to continue to grow Real Estate Radio Live in different areas and internationally. A lot of exciting stuff going on for sure. If you need to reach me during the week, you could do that a couple different ways, 408-838-9060, or you could also email Joe at reradiolive.com. All right, before I get started on the subject today, be sure to download the podcast where you could do that, or to a couple different locations, really. You could go to iTunes and just type in Real Estate Radio Live. You could get it there. Or you could always go to the website, reradiolive.com. Just download the podcast. Follow us anywhere, anytime. We took a break from live radio, so we are not doing live radio right now. The time slots just did not work for us. It didn't make sense. So we will keep you posted. I'm sure we'll be doing live radio again from time to time, different stations, and it has to depend, really depends on if it works and the time slots are right and we're getting the most value and information through that. Honestly, what's happening right now is the podcast is growing so rapidly, it allows people to listen to it at their convenience. We're finding that there's just a lot more value in the podcast, the feedback that we're getting from consumers. All right, today the topic is going to be how to prepare and plan for a market with rising interest rates. How to prepare and plan in a market when we have rising interest rates. And some people might say, well, that's easy to plan for. Just hunker down. Don't worry about it. If you have a good low fixed interest rate on your mortgages, then you're good to go. I'm going to drill down a little bit on that and go into more detail because, again, what I'm passionate about and what I believe in wholeheartedly is education and information, and that's what this show was born from, where it was born from. I'll continue to do that. That's the reason we have the guests that we do and the information that I share. You hear me talk about this all the time, and I take it very seriously, and that is every show I do, I want to be able to add value and provide information and education that's useful. That's useful. We have a very educated, informed consumer right now, and I love that. That's wonderful. It is. It's super. The fact that people are more educated and informed about all kinds of things, this topic, real estate, lending, is just as good. So the reason why this is so important for me is that there is so much noise out there today. So much noise. There's millions of podcasts, radio shows, online, YouTube, all kinds of mediums. We all know about these mediums. I think the thing that upsets and frustrates people the most that I hear, the feedback that we get, is that when you're just trying to sell someone on something 24 hours a day, or every day it's the same thing, or you're continually talk about something that has nothing of value in terms of giving that back to the consumer. And I've given you examples before. I listen to shows or podcasts and information sometimes. I do it all the time because, number one, I love listening to podcasts. I love learning. But I also like to listen to many podcasts to see what other people are doing and if you could always learn what they're doing. So the frustrating part for me is when, especially on a real estate show, when all we hear is stuff like, here are today's market updates. We have 678 homes on the market in the Santa Clara County. The average price is $1.1 million, and it looks like it's going to be the same in the next couple of months, and inventory's low, and if you want to sell your house, you really should do it now. And I'm being a little sarcastic here, but I'm serious. Everybody knows that. Everybody knows that there's low inventory. Everybody knows if you sell your home, it is a good seller's market. Everybody knows the interest rates are going up. Everybody knows what, overall, if you're in the housing market, everybody knows this stuff. So what we try to do at Real Estate Radio Live is bring information to you that you could learn from and you could use. And you could store in your memory bank or take notes or learn something that maybe you don't know, or we give you a different twist on something, or maybe a different philosophy, something that you could take away and feel like you didn't waste your time. And that's our goal, and I take it very seriously, and I'm going to continue to do that. I get some great feedback from people, some ideas for shows, so keep those coming. I love those. All right, so back to the topic, how to prepare and plan for a market with rising interest rates. I'll go through a checklist of things that I would like people to consider. Number one, take a look at all your mortgages. If you're all set on mortgages right now, then you're good. I wouldn't worry about it so much. You've heard me say this. I'll continue to talk a lot about the home equity lines, and I'm going to continue to bring that up. For some people, it's probably going to sound repetitive, but the reason I'm going to continue to talk about this is I just got two new calls today from people that have an equity line, and they're really struggling to consolidate it. And the reason why is because I've talked about this a lot, is because they have such good interest rates on their first loan. So I talked to both these people today, and they're going to end up consolidating the first and second, even though they have these wonderful interest rates on the first, because it makes sense. A lady that I talked to today, she has an interest rate on her first of 3.375. That is an incredible interest rate. It really is. That's remarkable, and I don't blame her. That's a tough one to let go. That's a tough one to let go. 3.375 fixed for 30 years. They got it 3 years ago. Awesome timing. Good for them. Here's the problem. They want to do a big remodel on their house, and this other person has a huge, I think it's a $250,000 equity line. So guess what? Let's take the first one. If you want to do a remodel, and in their case they want to pull out $150,000, here are the downsides to home equity lines now since the new tax rules. Number one, you can't deduct the interest from home equity lines anymore. Zero, zip, none. So no tax benefits. And two, we know the Fed's going to continue raising the prime interest rate. So those two things right there, those two components right there, make home equity lines very unattractive right now. Now, if you need a home equity line, let's say you're going to do a remodel or an add-on or something else, you need it, and you plan on paying it off in the next couple of years or paying it down, or there's a strategy maybe, you might think, hey, Joe, and home equity line's not that big of a deal because I'm going to sell the house in a couple of years. Then that's true. Then you're probably, you have a plan that's not going to tie you up so long. You have to be concerned about the exposure on that second and the rate continuing to go up. So I understand that 100% completely. So in a market where the interest rates are rising, I get very concerned about home equity lines. You'll hear me continue to talk about that. I'm not doing it to be repetitive. Believe me, I'm doing it because I still are getting people calling, struggling with that decision of what they should do, whether they should keep the equity line or consolidate it, even though they have the good interest rate on the first. Keep this in mind. It's called a blended rate. You've probably heard me talk about this before. It's called a blended rate, and what that means is, let's say in this couple's case, they had a 3.375 on their first, which is a really tough one to swallow because that's a great interest rate. But then they're looking to borrow money on the second, and the second's going to be, because primes come up and it's a cash out, or I should say the LTV is a little bit high. They're looking at probably 5.5-6% interest on the second. Now it is interest only, but remember, interest only is a false payment. It's like paying a credit card. Minimum, you're never paying it down unless you pay principal. So 5.5 to 6%. So if you let's just take 6% and a 3.3. Right? You have these two interest rates, and if you blend them, you're going to have an interest rate. I don't have the calculators right in front of me, but you're probably going to have an interest rate in the mid to high fours. So in this case, you would want to refinance, in their case, the first and second, or pull out this cash for the remodel, even if the interest rate's going to be in the low fours. I think in this case they were going to be at 4.25 or 4.375 for all the money. And when you think about it, what's crazy is they're going up 1 full percent based on what they have now in the first, but because they don't want the exposure of the second, and that's just going to continue to go up, and there's no tax deductions there, you really, when you put those numbers down on paper and you unemotionally pencil this stuff out, this is what I suggest you do. And the reason why is when you factor in there's no more tax deductions for that second. What's that going to cost you if you get a home equity line? You have to ask yourself, and you have to run that by your CPA. What is this going to cost me? If I'm missing out on, let's just say it's a $200,000 equity line. I don't know. I'm just going to throw a number out there. And let's say you're missing out on, $8,000 to $12,000 a year on tax deductions. What's that do to your income? What's that do to your tax bracket? You have to look at that. And then you have to look at the interest rate on the second. The home equity lines are going to be in the high 5s or 6s. That's not a good interest rate, and it's only going to go up. So based on that, again, for those that are out there considering this, give me a call if you want to run some numbers. If you want to look at blended rates, we could do that for you. We could run an exercise. Another thing that I would suggest when we're talking about planning and preparing for higher interest rates in the market, if you do need to refinance for some reason, if you're consolidating a first and second, or you're taking money out for a construction loan or add-on or whatever, consider a 15 or 20-year fixed. I know a lot of people, the 15 is unattractive because it accelerates the payment, which means your payment's going to be a lot higher. But these are the types of things we should really be talking about, or you should be talking about the person that's helping you with financing, is that what does it mean if you've had a loan for 10 years, do you really want to go back to a 30? That's when we really need to have a conversation about, does that make sense? Maybe what we should do is look at a 20-year fixed. A lot of people forget about the 20-year fixed. Then you're not going backwards and it doesn't hurt so much. If you could afford the payment, look at a 15-year. What happens with the 15-year is you're going to get a better interest rate as well. The 20-year, probably not. You might get a little better interest rate, but it's kind of a funny loan in that there's not a lot of demand for it. So interest rates on the 20-year, quite frankly, are probably going to be pretty close to the 30-year. Now, interest rates on the 15 are going to be substantially better than the 30-year. So if you like the idea of paying less interest over the life of a loan, then that's something that we should talk about, and that's really something that we should bring up and see if it makes sense or not. All right, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take a quick break. When I come back, I'm going to continue the conversation about how to prepare and plan for a market with rising interest rates. When I come back, I'm going to talk a little bit about how that applies to the housing market. Are you planning to buy or sell? If you are, what do you need to know about the interest rates going up in a market like this? This is Joe Kuchera with Real Estate Radio Live. Stick with us. If you're on Facebook, I'll be back with you in just a minute.
For more information on today's program, visit reradiolive.com. That's RERadiolive.com.
The world is changing, and so is real estate. It's changing in a way that gives consumers more control, a better use of technology, and guaranteed savings. Hi, this is Joe Kuchera with Real Estate Radio Live. I've been on the air and in the media educating and informing consumers for over 7 years now. I'm excited to introduce Bundle Select, which allows consumers to bundle all of their real estate services online, simplifying the process while averaging a savings of 20% or more. That's right, Bundle Select helps buyers and sellers streamline real estate, lending, and title. In addition, our concierge service will coordinate the entire transaction for you, so you benefit by working with the same team, saving time and saving money. You'll not only be working with the most qualified, hand-picked experts, but you will also save a significant amount of money in all three services as well. Act now and take advantage of this opportunity in the Bay Area. Go to bundleselect.com. That's bundleselect.com. Again, bundleselect.com.
Real estate broker Cal BRE 004666902. Welcome back to Real Estate Radio Live. For more information on today's topic or guests, just visit RERadiolive.com. That's RERadiolive.com. Again, your host for today's edition of Real Estate Radio Live, Joe Kuchera.
Welcome back in. Joe Kuchera with Real Estate Radio Live. Thank you very much for tuning in, I should say, and checking in with us today. For those on Facebook, thank you for following the show. That continues to grow. We continue to get more and more feedback from our Facebook listeners. Just a reminder, once again, we've had Jack Russo on talking about starting something new in Silicon Valley. That is the theme. And we've had 3 parts so far. Part 3 was yesterday with Jack, and we were talking about intellectual property, patents, those types of things. That was the first 3 series of the show. We're going to continue that series ongoing. It's not stopping. So we're excited about bringing to you, the consumer, some exciting stuff that's going on in the Silicon Valley. Jack will give you updates. We're also going to get into, I would say, probably next month, we're going to dive into the startups that are related to the real estate industry, the mortgage industry, how that's going to affect this industry, what's going on at that space. This is what Jack does. He helps people start companies. He also has been in this law firm, practicing law for 40 years, and has a super, super knowledge and really incredible energy for this topic of entrepreneurship and the Silicon Valley startups, and it's really exciting to have him on. So be sure to stay tuned and follow the show. He'll be with us probably once a week, and I don't know what days because of his schedule. It's hard to track him down for a specific day each week. So be sure to do that. Again, the place to get the podcast, RERadiolive.com, or you can always go to iTunes. Today I'm talking about the topic is how to prepare and plan for a market like we're in now with the rising interest rates. So the first segment, I talked about how important it was to look at your mortgages, try to figure out if you need any additional money right now. If you do, refinance now because rates will continue to go up. Talked about the home equity lines. They've really become an unpopular product lately. Right or wrong, they just are. The reason why is there's no tax benefits to the home equity lines anymore, and the rates are going to keep going up. So I'm going to talk a little bit now on how to prepare for a market with rising interest rates as it relates to the housing market. And so if you are a consumer that is getting ready to buy or sell or considering it, don't jump out and run and do something now just because interest rates are going up. But I will say this, if your plan is to buy or sell, I should say, or let's say sell and move out of the area, and you have some flexibility, I would say do that sooner than later. Now, not everybody could just pull the trigger at any moment. I understand that and say, you know what, I was going to move 2 years from now and sell, but I'll do it now. I realize that's not realistic for some people because there's a plan or there's a job, there's a retirement, there's a lot of things on the horizon that take place here. However, the reason why you should take a look at this is that, number one, you're going to get a premium dollar for your home right now. Most everybody knows that, like I talked about earlier. It's a great time to sell. It's not a surprise. Everybody knows that. The second thing is, with the interest rates going up, the cost of money is going to be more. It's going to be more expensive. It just is. So if you are planning and you have some flexibility, and you can do it this year, I would say if you can, pull the trigger and do it this year for those reasons. Number one, you're going to get that great dollar amount for selling your home. Number two, you're going to get a better interest rate now than you would this time next year or the following year, most likely. And, it saves you some money in the long run, and you make some more money maybe. Some people might say, well, Joe, next year the housing market could be even hotter, and maybe that house that's worth $1.5 million is worth $1.6 million next year. Well, maybe. Or what about this? And I know this is going to surprise some people, but what about if a lot of people now, I could tell you the conversations that are happening around the water cooler, at parties, cocktail parties, work office. Here's the conversation that's taking place right now. I guarantee you. What do you think it is? This is the type of conversation. Hey, can you believe what my house is worth now? Oh my God, it was worth $1.3 million last year. Now it's worth $1.5. I can't believe it. Keep an eye and ears open. These are the conversations that are happening all over the place right now. Why is that important to know? Because the more and more that conversation takes place, emotionally, psychologically, that sinks into people, and they really start wondering, is it a good time to sell my home? Should I put it on the market? Now, you can't just do that. You have to go buy another home in most cases. But my point here is, don't be surprised if we have more homes on the market come late spring and early summer than you think we will. And I think everybody would welcome that. I'm not saying, it's not a negative. It's not a negative. However, if you were trying to get top dollar for your house, and right now the inventory is really extremely low, like everybody knows, right? And let's say come, April, May, we get a nice move, and a bunch of houses come on the market. And let's just say, I'm using an example. What if we go from 500 or 600 houses on the market in Santa Clara County to 3,000 or 3,500? Well, some people would say, Joe, that'd be awesome. It would be awesome, but what do you think that means? Think about it. Supply and demand. That's economics 101, supply and demand. The more houses you have go on the market, the chances are you're going to get less multiple offers. You're going to get less of those run-ups in prices. The market's going to settle a little bit. Houses are going to sit a little bit longer. I know it sounds funny. Most people out there listening to this going, you're crazy. But I'm telling you, these things come in cycles. Nothing will continue to go up forever. We all should know that if you've been around long enough, and I have. Nothing is going to continue to go up always, forever. Just doesn't happen. There will be a turn. There will be a cycle. There'll be a downturn. There'll be a correction. No one knows to what extent, but there will be. So I bring this up for a person to think about it. And if you think the timing is right for you, it might not be a bad idea to put your house on the market sooner than later. It's just a guess. It's just an estimate. None of us really know. There's no way to know exactly. The only data that I have sometimes, I do research every single day. However, there's also something that's intuitive and something that you're used to hearing and listening to when you've been through some of these markets. Do you remember, for those of us that were around, do you remember when everybody was talking about how easy it was to get loans? Anybody could get a loan. Didn't matter. You didn't have to have a job. You didn't have to have, you could just walk in blindfolded, sign some papers, and get money. Remember? Remember what that felt like? And then everybody started thinking, God, this is crazy. Are you kidding me? Is this really happening? This is going to last forever. What happened? It was too good to be true. It came tumbling down. What I'm saying is, in a market like this, be careful because it doesn't go up forever. Now, I'm not saying run out and sell your home. What I'm suggesting is don't get caught up in this thing to think that sitting there rubbing your palms together in the evening going, my house is worth $1.5 million if I stay on this pace in the next 5 years, my houses are going to be over $10 million. Don't get caught up in that. Manage your mortgage properly, manage your real estate properly, be realistic. If it makes sense to make some changes, if it makes sense to do some things different, do that. The reason I'm summarizing this for you is a lot of times I'll tell you these examples or stories or give you some thoughts and some philosophies to ponder a little bit, because these are kinds of things that help people make decisions when you're listening to people talk or you're having some dialogue about a topic in which you're interested in or you're wondering maybe what to do. The other thing I would say is always check with your financial planner, your CPA, anybody that helps you manage your money and taxes. I'm a big fan of having a team of people around you to help you with these decisions. So remember to do that. And also remember that I am here as your mortgage advisor. That's what I do for a living. I'm a residential mortgage. I help people get financing for their purchases, for their refinances. If I could help you in any way, that doesn't change. If you have some questions, if you're working with someone else and you just want a second opinion, you want my advice, believe me, I do that for people all the time. I don't want you to call because you feel like you have to work with me. I want you to call if you want some advice, information, maybe some feedback. If I could help you, that's great. I'd love to do that too. The reason why that's important is that we have a team of people here at Real Estate Radio Live that support everything. Real estate, lending. We have CPAs, financial planners, attorneys. If you go to our website, you could see this information. If you need any kind of guidance in any of these areas, we're here to help you for sure. So lastly, before I check out today, on an interest rate rising environment in the markets, real quickly to summarize, check your mortgages. Make sure you have the right mortgages on your properties. If you need to consolidate, do it now. If you need to refinance, do it now. If you're thinking about an add-on or remodeling, do it now. The reason I say that is that if there's any way you could do it now instead of waiting till summer or fall, I would do it, because I do think there's a chance that as the year closes out, we could have interest rates close to 5%, which historically speaking is not terrible, but considering we were in the low to mid threes a couple of years ago, it's a little bit of a sticker shock for some people. All right, I'm going to sign off for today. Thank you again for checking in. Remember, for more information, you could always go to reradiolive.com. During the week, you could reach out 408-838-9060. This is Joe Kuchera with Real Estate Radio Live. Thanks again for checking in and tuning in today. We'll be back with you soon. Take care.
You've been listening to Real Estate Radio Live. For more information on today's program, visit reradiolive.com. That's reradiolive.com. Subscribe to our podcast. Discover more at reradiolive.com.